Hey guys, it's Podge, and in this video I'm going to be going over an update to this character, which is the Bladefall / Blade Blast Chieftain that I've been playing since League start in Delirium League. Now, I've been playing quite a bit the last couple of days, and I've managed to get the character up to level 88. However, this build is by no means optimized. I am playing in solo self-found, so I don't have access to be able to trade a bunch of items and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a map right now. This is just a tier 10 map, so it's not going to be too hard or anything like that. So I'll show you the gameplay, and I'll talk you through what I've changed in the build since the last video. And yeah, basically first thing you'll probably notice is that I am running, what is it called, Blood and Sand now, I think. It is Flesh and Stone, rather. Oh, that was close. I almost died to that. And I've managed to be able to do that basically by grabbing a cluster for mana reservations. So the one just in the top of Templar, and that has been very beneficial because having everything be blinded nearby is so strong for your defenses, especially automatically. It's definitely worth the 25% reservation for sure. What else has changed? I've finally got some proper items on, which is very good. I am still able to farm deliriums quite well, which is fantastic. It's not, obviously, like I said before, it's not a super fast build, but it is a very solid one, and it is making the league mechanic, especially now since they've nerfed the monsters a bit, quite not as dangerous as you might think. But yeah, I have still died a couple of times just because I'm a terrible player at this game, but not because of the build's fault. So yeah, as you can see, I have a lot more AoE now than I did in the last video. And that's because I've swapped out the spell echo support on Blade Blast for increased area of effect. And the reason I've done that instead of concentrated effect is because I personally feel like it's more damage. Now obviously, Path of Building won't say that it's more damage, but if you think about it, right, you're getting a lot more AoE overlapping using increased area than concentrated effect, right? So I do think personally that, oh, I can't detonate them off the edge there, that feels bad. Yeah, I do think that it's more single target damage. I got the nurse, dude! Sick! Wait, that's hell good for the video. Shit. Wait, take that, eh? Wait, solo self-found though. Can't even sell it for fat monies. But, yeah, dude, so it's definitely feeling a lot stronger now since swapping the gems and getting the aura. I'll go through the gear in just a second. I'm just trying to find the boss so I can actually do the boss. Here, maybe. Is this it? Here they are. Alright, so I've got Val Righteous Fire, and what's the other one called? Val Molten Shell, and it's definitely a lot nicer now. So yeah, there you go. There's the gameplay anyway, so I'll go back to town and I'll show you the rest. I'm just so happy about that nurse card, dude. That's so sick. I got some stacked decks. I'll just quickly open those two because maybe I'll get another one. Nah, wasn't lucky. Anyway, so next up, the skill tree. I'll go through that, what I've changed. So basically, I still haven't got my Uber Lab mine. So for Uber Lab, I'm going to get Moon's Presence, basically. I do have a decoy totem here, which I use for big bosses, which is very good. So I'll get 16% more damage there. So for the skill tree, it remains pretty much unchanged. I have got some cluster jewels now. For level 90, basically I'm going to grab this last one, but I'll go through the choice that I've made for this anyway. This cluster here, I basically grabbed this section here for the reduced mana reserve, so now I can run Flesh and Stone in Sand Stance for basically anything gets close to me, it gets blinded, it has 50% less chance to hit me. It's actually huge defense, so it was worth picking up for sure. So with the cluster jewel anyway, we basically have Thaumaphage, which is pretty awesome because it gives us 10% chance to hinder enemies on hit with spells. So it's a 30% reduced movement speed slow. It's very, very powerful, especially for a build like this where you kind of stop starting. You don't get swarmed by enemies as quickly. If you can hit them with Bladefall first, you know, you kind of got that little extra layer of defense there. Practice Caster is basically 35% chance to avoid stun interruption while casting, which is also very strong. And in here we've got flask stuff, so we've got Distilled Perfection for basically flask effect duration, increased life and mana recovery from flask. We are still using a mana flask though. However, I would like to get this last node, and you'll see why anyway. So this one here is fasting, which is huge flask charges gained and 20% increased movement speed while under no flask effects. It's actually very, very strong. Like, it's super good, like for pretty much any build if you want to go fast. And for the last one, we've got a 3-point cluster jewel for mana, basically giving us mana and life regen and armor for our small nodes, and then mindfulness for our last one. And it's because of the massive 80% increased mana regeneration while stationary. Now, that is very, very, very strong for us because we are stationary when we cast all of our spells. So that could possibly, having that extra little bit of mana and that much more regen when I'm casting could possibly mean I could even drop clarity. So, I mean, yeah, I'm still obviously sort of trying to figure out if it's possible. I won't know for another 2 levels. I was thinking about respecking some points, but I just ended up deciding that I'm going to wait until I hit level 90, which is hopefully be in the next day or so. And yeah, so that's it for the skill tree. For Pantheons, I'm pretty much using Soul of Lunaris and Soul of Rislatha for the flask stuff. I haven't upgraded these yet, but I will get to work on that very soon. So for the gear now, we've actually made some upgrades, which is great. I have like an alright helm. I think this might be the same one that I was using before. I haven't fossil crafted a helm yet. Ideally, I would like a helmet that has nearby enemies have -9 fire resist. That would be very, very strong for us. That's probably what we're aiming for next, to be honest. We are still using a tabula, so to have 5,800 life as a caster with a tabula is pretty good. So I think with a proper chest on, we'll probably be able to probably push 6k life, which is pretty good for a softcore build for sure. Like, my gloves are much better now, so we're still running the same setup here. Cast when damage taken, Wave of Conviction only level 8, so we've got this as a level 3, so it's proccing quite often. Curse on hit with flammability, and this little setup here is one of my favorite setups because it just strips so much fire resistance from enemies. It's actually really great. I have an Abyss belt now. It's not the best one, but it'll do for now. It gives me mana, life, and some resists. I also have a pretty average jewel in here. It just has life and onslaught on kill, which is very strong, like for, you know, just moving. My boots are like a lot better than they used to be. 25% increased movement speed. Still not ideal, but better than it was. We are now using Bladefall with Spell Cascade, Spell Echo, and Combustion. Same situation, basically. Things get ignited with this, and then they have -19 fire res. Our shield is pretty, like, it's got a lot of life on it, put it that way. Like 130 life plus 22 strength is what's this, like 140 life. A good amount of armor, a resist, and we just crafted the double damage roll for, you know, shits and giggles and that. We're using Herald of Ash with Clarity and Anger. As always, in here we've got 2 unset rings, and that was just not by design, but pretty much it just happened. I got the rolls that I wanted and was looking for my stat requirements, because sort of the biggest issue that I've had with this character is the dex, right? So having dex on this ring here has actually saved my ass so good. This ring here is really nice too. In these rings I've got Flesh and Stone and Decoy Totem. Basically I needed extra bindings to put this totem on, otherwise I was going to have to go with Forest Strength for my Uberlab. But yeah, because we've managed to get this ring, we can get Arangui's Moon Presence for the extra damage, which is pretty nice. Weapon is sort of alright too, has a chance to deal double damage as well, which is, you know, neither here nor there. I mean, combined I have 10% chance to deal double damage, which is pretty strong. Flame Dash, Arcane Surge, and Second Wind. So yeah, the biggest change for my main skill was Blade Blast. I can't believe I'm going over this last, but yeah. So increased area of effect is what we swapped for Spell Echo, and the reason I think that is because, getting this extra area of effect makes clearing much nicer for one. Plus, I think it feels to me like more single target damage as well. Purely because, as I was saying before, AoE overlap. If you can get a boss right in the middle, there is a lot of like these things, if not all of them, hitting him. Which, you know, when you've got Conk Effect, like the AoE is so much smaller that I don't think all of the things actually hit them, all of the explosions. So I feel like this is actually more overall damage compared to Conk Effect, but Path of Building obviously won't tell you that. I mean, I'm not sure I'm not certain about it, but it definitely feels stronger than Conk Effect. So yeah, Fire Penetration, added fire damage, controlled destruction, and elemental focus. That hasn't really changed at all. My flasks have though. I've got a Seething Divine Life Flask of Staunching now, proper quality, which is actually really nice now, saves me a lot. Sulfur Flask of Iron Skin basically just gives me iron. Gives me armor while I'm stood still casting. A lot of regen because of Consecrated Ground too, and obviously a bit of damage. Granite Flask of Heat, basically just to remove freeze and chill and a bit of extra armor, which is nice for my Molten Shell and stuff. Quicksilver Flask of Adrenaline, it's really, really strong. I managed to land a 30 roll, which is pretty good. It's not an alchemist, but you know, it'll do for now. Solo self found, by the way. And a Saturated Eternal Mana Flask of Efficiency, and that basically just reduces my mana cost. But yeah, the plan is if I can get what was it? If I can get this node here, I'm hoping that I won't need a mana flask anymore, and then I can drop this for a damage flask. I'm not sure exactly what I would use though yet. I haven't had many unique flasks drop. Where are my uniques? Just here. So I have a few. I would love to use Aziri's Promise, but obviously I'm Avatar of Fire, so I cannot use it because it doesn't give me any extra damage because I can't do anything other than fire damage. So the rest of these are kind of like, they don't really benefit me in any way. So I don't know, maybe I'll get a nice basalt flask or something like that for that slot there. And yeah, I think that's just about it, to be honest. If you thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, give us a like. If you didn't like the video, that's okay too, I don't mind. Give us a subscribe if you want more Path of Exile videos and news and things like that. You can also check me out streaming at twitch.tv/podge92. And yeah guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.